We've built, tested and climbed higher every step of the way, but this time we're going all in. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the bonus episode of the road to 6060. We made it through 5 major upgrades and now it's time to go all in and fine-tune everything for peak performance. We're gonna upgrade with the new Injora XHX 1-inch pin tires. We're gonna upgrade the suspension with aluminum oil-filled shocks, the 39mm from Injora. We're gonna upgrade the motor with the 66 turn 050 sized motor, also from Injora, to get a little bit more speed and a bit more torque. And then we're gonna fine-tune the front bias with the wheel weights that we're gonna fix on the front of the vehicle to hopefully reach our 60/40 goal of front bias on the vehicle. And the front biased weight tuning, this is the setup that could finally hit our 60/40 balance goal. Each of these upgrades adds something special. The new pin tires gives the better bite and traction. The oil shocks smooth out the suspension and keep the rig planted. The 050 motor gives that extra torque and control on tough climbs. And the wheel weights, they are the secret weapon for shifting our CG to that magic 60/40 front bias. We're combining everything we've learned through this series and pushing it to the limit. Let's get this full combo installed and ready for testing. I'm gonna show each install and we're gonna see the difference between our swamp tires and the new XHX Pin tires. We're gonna look at the difference between the stock shocks and our oil-filled 39mm Injora shocks. I'm also gonna install the motor plate and the 66 turn Injora motor in the vehicle and look at the difference there. And finally, I'm gonna show when I'm installing the wheel weights on the front of the vehicle. And also, we're gonna do the CG testing then to see if we can get our magical 60/40 front bias. And everything about this setup screams control. Planted, torquey and balanced. So let's start with the install and the montage of all the installation of the final bonus episode when we're going all in. Alright, first we're gonna look at the new pin tires. And the tires are 60 by 20 millimeters. You have a few variances. I'm gonna show you now. You also have a smaller tire that's 55 by 20. The mini comp pin tires, more or less the same, just a little bit smaller. So we're gonna install the new pin tires on our module wheels instead of the swamp tires. So I'm gonna show you one tire and then I'm gonna switch the others off screen. So first you have the 6 screws on the back side. So you just start with unscrewing them. So now you take the new tire and it's unidirectional, so it doesn't matter how you install them. Press ring inside. Alright, we have installed the new pin tire. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how this new tire works with the vehicle, since it's a bit taller but a bit skinnier, and the tread pattern is the biggest difference. You have the small pins here and you have the more rough lugged pattern on the swamp tire. So I will install the other 3 tires on the rims, and then we will come back to see how the vehicle is looking with the new tires on. Alright, we have 4 XHX Pin tires mounted on our module wheels, and now I will mount them in a fashion that is the fastest in the world. 3, 2, 1, boom! It's a quite different look of the vehicle now. It's a bit more compy-esque, can we say it like that? It's a bit more sleek and nimble now, instead of the bulky swamp tires. So it will be really nice to see how the vehicle is performing now with the new comp pin tires. So let's continue. The weight is exactly the same as with the swamp tires, so it's not necessary to check the CG and so on. So the next thing that we will install is the oil-filled shocks, the 39mm aluminum threaded oil-filled shocks for SCX24. So I will start with disassembling the original shocks, and then I will do some comparisons since we have a different spring hardness. I will compare how it feels, and I think I will install a softer spring at the front and a heavier at the back, since we want the back to help the transition when we are climbing the rocks and the obstacles. So I will start the montage after I've set everything up, so see you in 1 second. Alright, so with the shocks you get 3 different spring rates. You have the medium, that is mounted on the shocks when they come from the factory, and then you have a harder spring, and then you have the softest spring. And the difference between the hardest and the softest is quite significant. And also to the middle one, I would say it's a big difference between the softest and the medium, and also an equal big step from the medium to the hardest. So you have a lot of tunability here in the spring rates. And the shocks come filled with oil from the factory. And then you have the mounting hardware. You have the brass ball ends that you will insert here, like so. And then you will mount a few O-rings on each side of the ball end. So the O-rings will hold the ball end in place. And then you have some different spacers that you will use to mount on the car here, so you don't get any interference to the chassis, so the suspension can move freely. So I will mount 1 shock, and then I will mount the other 3 off camera. So you will tag along on the first one. So we can start with the back. I think that's easiest, like so. Take away the pin, and as I said, I think I will mount the hardest on the rear first, just to see how it behaves, and if it's too hard I will install the medium spring, because it's quite easy to change it. Then you screw it on here and hold the shock as best as you can, and like that you have 1 shock that's ready. Then we take the ball end, and here you can see you can only insert the ball end in from one side, because one side is a little bit larger, so it cannot fall out. And like that you have the O-ring on one side, and like that you have 1 mounted ball end. The low side I will do the same. Install the O-ring on the small side first, so it holds everything together. So now we can take the old shock out, and the difference between these two is massive. I think you can't compare the shock, the stock friction shock with the oil-filled shock here. It's miles apart. Now I will unscrew these ball ends, since we cannot use these ones anymore. Like that. And we have one shock installed. So I will mount the other three, and then I will come back and see if we will change the spring or if the car is good. So see you in a few minutes, or 1 second for you. Alright, we have 4 new shocks on the vehicle. So I've made some changes. I have laid down the rear shocks to the screw hole that all the battery mount connects to, because when I had the shocks more vertical, the rear was really high and it was quite stiff. So now I have, like I said, laid down the shocks quite much, and I have the stiffest springs. But like I said, I have the medium springs ready. So if I feel that the vehicle is too firm in the rear, I will change the spring to get it more floaty. And at the front I have the softest springs. As I see here, I will do the preload the same. So we will see if we will make any changes on the front suspension. We can lay the shocks down quite much if we want to, but I will start at this setting, because now we have a quite level car, quite level body, and it's not a monster truck either, so I think it will be a good start. Otherwise, like I said, we can change some spring tensioning and also the spring rate at the back if we feel like it's too much. Alright, so the last thing before we will do the fine tuning of the CG is that we will install the new 050 brushed motor with the mounting plate, and it's the 66 turn motor. Injora also sells 50 turn motor, but I wanted a crawler still and not just a speed demon. So I think this will be a happy medium, because the stock motor is 88 turn and this one is 66. So I think, like I said, it will be a good happy medium. We will get a bit more speed, but we will still retain the torque and the fine control on the low end. So I will start with removing the motor, and then I will come back, but you will come along. So I will turn my wrenches as fast as I can. Alright, all done. We have installed new tires, new suspension and a new motor. And the only thing that is with the 050 motor, when I have the adjustable truss at the back, when we are compressing the suspension, the upper link is interfering with the motor a bit, but we still have the articulation, so I will try it, and otherwise I will lower the upper links as much as I can. But with the stock C-frame chassis, you have the upper link mounting hole here, so that is the reason why the motor is touching the upper link. The original motor is quite a bit shorter than the 50 size, so that's why it's a bit tight of space. But now I will power up, see so everything works. We have the transmitter and we have the battery. Yeah, so as you see, everything works. Now I will reposition, clean everything up, and then we will do the CG testing and also the static testing and the dynamic testing as we have done with all previous episodes. So see you when I have repositioned everything. Now it's time to see if all these upgrades together finally reach our goal. 60-degree incline, static and dynamic, and a 60-40 CG split. And the final thing that we're gonna install now is the car wheel weights and see if we can fit as many that we need to get the 60-40 split. So we'll start with the CG tests, and in the last episode when we did the front stretch, we managed to get up to 55.9% of front weight. And the car did weigh 383 grams before, and now we have a car that weighs 386 grams. So I will put in 386, so that's plus 3 grams. And then if we take and weigh the front now, 216, and before we had 214, so of those 3 we have 2 plus at the front. So perhaps we should have 168 since we had 167 before, and we have that now, so 168. So 2 grams more at the front and 1 gram at the back. And if we calculate it now, we have 216 divided by 386, so 55.9 still. So if we would like to have 60% front weight, we take, let's do it like this, 440 grams exactly. So 440 times 0.6, 264 grams at the front, and we have 214 now, so 50 grams, and this is 56. So 1 wheel weight off, 51 grams. So if you can fit all these wheel weights at the front, I doubt it, but we will try. If we can fit them, then we have a car that's 60% bias at the front. So I will start trying to fit the wheel weights, and then I will come back to see if we have managed. I can let you roll on, and if I have something special to show you, I will transition you into that. Otherwise, I see you when I've fitted as many as possible. Alright, we have fitted all the wheel weights. I managed to get 20 grams on the axle, and perhaps we could shoehorn one set of wheel weights under the servo mount. So I will try that later. And we get 30 grams on top of the servo, so perhaps that's not as good as if we could get the weights at the axle height, because now we have 30 grams that is on top of the axle and a bit high, so when the car is tilting you get a leverage that you would not have if the wheelbase would be at the axle height. So I will fiddle around with that later, but now the biggest thing is if we manage to get our 60-40 split. So now we have a car that's weighing 435 grams. Okay, 435. Perhaps I have to mount the last wheel weight. But now 265 divided by 435. No, that's 60.9%. So now we have managed to get our 60% front bias. Awesome. And at the back we have 167 grams. So 167 divided, if someone is faster than me, tell me in the comments below. Divided by 435, that's 38.4%. Alright, we're back at the static incline test, and first of all I want to correct myself. I said 60.1 front bias, but it's 60.9. So we have added 5% of front bias since we added the wheel weights at the front here. So sometimes you get it right and sometimes you say the wrong stuff. So now we will do the static incline and see what we will manage to get. Now, last time we got 63 degrees, so we will get that and more now. 65, 66, 66 degrees. Wow. We will do it again, just to see if we can duplicate it. Alright, now we did get 65. Right, let's see if we can duplicate 66 degrees. 65. Yeah, 65.3. So 66 was a one-timer. We got 65.3, I would say. So that's a gain of 2.3%. So that's really good. 65.3. Yeah. Now we will try and do the static side hill. And before we got 50.5 degrees. So we will see what we manage now. I made the car more prone. Yeah, 48. 48. So we have made it worse, like I said. Approximately 2 degrees less. Approximately 2 degrees less now. And that is because the wheels are a little bit taller, but it's a lot narrower. So perhaps we will gain some uphill traction with these comp pin tires, and especially on the rocks. So perhaps we will have to compare the Swamp Claw tires with the comp pin tires when we are doing some outdoor testing. But at least we gained 2.3 degrees of or uphill ability with the added weight, but we lost 2.5 degrees of side hill. And I will reposition, like I said, and come back when I do the dynamic incline. Alright, we'll start bold. Let's go to 60 degrees right from the beginning. Let's keep the spirit going. Yeah, awesome. It's easy. Really good. As you see, 60.1 degrees. easy. So let's increase to 61, like that, 61.1. Yeah, now you see. And now you see our front left is rising a bit, but it's easy. Easy peasy. And let's increase it to 62.3. All right, still easy. And as you see, 62.2. Now I'll be lifting down my truck so it doesn't tumble down. Let's add a bit more. Yeah, 63 even. So now we have reached the limit. Now when the front is unloading too much, we tumble over now. Yeah, but 62.3 degrees of climbability. So 62.3 degrees of dynamic incline now. So that's 4.8 degrees better than before. We get the thumbs up from our little dude here. Yeah, so we give that a thumbs up, and we have met all our goals. Every upgrade, every test, every setback, it all comes down to this one climb. This is where the hard work pays off. We haven't managed to climb this stone at any stage of the evolution of this car, but now with the new added weight and upgraded shocks, you will see what happens now. The front stays planted and the car is capable of turning around and driving on top of the stone. This is a real milestone for this build. And here you have the second obstacle that we haven't been able to climb at all stages of the car's evolution. But now, with the new upgraded shocks and front bias, the car stays really planted. And now, this is the last obstacle that we have to climb to finish the road to 6060. And here you have it. If you look back at the first episodes of this build, you will see how much the car has changed. Alright, we're finished. It's not just stronger, it's smoother, more predictable and more capable. Every upgrade built up to this moment. The Injora XHX tires and oil shocks made the rig feel alive. The 050 motor added torque and precision, and the 6040 front bias, that's the sweet spot. We set out to build a better crawler, and we did it. This is what going all in looks like, tuning every last detail until the performance just clicks. I really liked how this series turned out. And it is really good that we could get our goals and meet every single one of them. If you look at the first episode of the stock car compared to this, you can't compare the two. Now we have a really capable car, and I'm certain that we could get it to be much better than it is today. But I'm really happy because now I have a really fun, capable car that I can run every single day and have fun with it. And as you see, you could change tires, you could experiment with a lot of things. You could experiment with the spring tension, you could experiment with the spring tension, you could experiment with the spring stiffness. So it's a really fun hobby, and this is what I really love about this hobby. The tinkering and the testing to see what works and what's not working to get a better car every single time. That's the fun of it. And then just to run the thing, to see how the car is performing and handling with the changes, that's the best. From the first upgrade to this final climb. This has been the road to 6060. We built it, we tested it, and we proved it. But this is only the beginning. If you've been here from episode 1, thank you. You're the reason this series came to life. If you're new, hit the subscribe button right now, because we're just getting started. The next build is already on the bench. So I would like to thank you all for watching, and this has been a really fun series, and I have learned a lot. So I hope the builds in the future will be better, more good looking, and more exceptional than this one. Let's take one small step at a time and learn together to make this even better. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.